Welcome to the weird and wonderful world of English grammar and spelling. A question: what is black and white and red all over? Think about that. Okay, here's a clue. Yeah, newspaper. Black and white in print, and it's red all over. That brings us to a very interesting phenomenon. That is the so-called homophone. Words which have the same sound but are quite different spelling and meaning.
A homograph, on the other hand, is when we have a word spelt as with bow, B-O-W, but bearing two or more pronunciations. Thus, bow can mean the bow and arrow, a rainbow, a bow you tie in your hair. But with the same spelling we have bow, as when a person bows before a monarch, or the bow of a ship. Then we have a homonym, is when a word is spelled in a certain way, B-O-W in our example, and pronounced in the same way, here it is bow, but then with more than one meaning, as when a person bows before a king or monarch, but also a ship has a bow, the front part of the ship.
So, you who pride yourself on your knowledge of English, I'm going to put you through your paces. I'm going to show you sentences and just read them out to yourselves or aloud and test the pronunciation. We're dealing here with the same factor of homophones and homographs. And then, if you listen, you'll get my version of what is correct. So let's go for it.
John and Mary had a terrible row over money matters. Row, row, row your boat merrily down the stream. We have concert tickets for the first row. Robin Hood made good use of his bow and arrow. The naval vessel fired a warning shot over the bow of the pirate's ship. Anne tied a bow in her little sister's hair. The staunch Republican refused to bow to the king. Farmer Giles will sow potatoes in his fields next week. Sow is the word for a female pig. To summarize then, a homophone is a sound which is shared by words which are spelt differently and of course have a different meaning. A homograph is a word which can be pronounced in different ways. Bow and bow is the example we've considered, with different meanings of course. A homonym is a word which is spelt the same and pronounced the same, but which has different meanings. So, to bow in the sense of to bend in reference to a monarch, and the bow, the front part of a ship, they are homonyms.
Sounds a bit complicated, but once you get the hang of that, one can understand and unravel, say, many mysteries of the poetry of Dylan Thomas, where he uses a word, the rude red tree. If you look in the context of that poem, Altarwise by Owlite, you realize that red isn't only the colour, but is past participle of the verb to read. And rude doesn't mean impolite only, but it's associated with the cross, the holy rood.
Mr. St. John and a boatswain were indicted in Worcester, the first for not paying his mortgage debts, the second for calling Captain Beauchamp a blackguard on the forecastle.